While California is full of state parks, it also has over 40 state historic parks, which are parks that are designated specifically for the historic impact they've had on the state. Here are 10 of my favorite state historic parks, and I have another list of just state parks in the description if you want to see that one as well. Let me know what I left off in the comments. First up is Hearst Castle. Hearst Castle is the famous home of William Randolph Hearst, which is now run by the California State Park System. When you visit the area, you can go on one of more than a half dozen tours that take you up to the castle and allow you to visit the stunning landmark. The tours also give you access to the property so you can walk around and explore both the pools and the amazing outdoor gardens after you're done. Even if you've been before, go on another tour of the landmark and see a different part of the mansion, as there's so much to see at Hearst Castle and it's interesting every time you go. Recommendation number 2 is Bodie State Historic Park. Bodie is located off Highway 395 near the town of Bridgeport. The park is out of the way for many visitors, but it's worth getting to since it's one of the best preserved ghost towns in California. The population of Bodie was around 6,000 in the late 1800s, and the town still has dozens of old houses and even a stamp mill that you can explore today. It's a really interesting spot with a lot of history, and another one that I love going to every time I drive Highway 395. Next up is California Citrus State Historic Park. Established in the early 90s, this state park is more an open-air museum spotlighting the rich history of citrus in the state. The park has all sorts of different types of citrus trees you can walk along, and it's one of the best places to see orange groves, which were once a staple of the state of California. The park also has a visitor center with exhibits on the history of California citrus and the role it played in how the state developed. Plus, on the way out, you can buy some fruit to take home with you as well. My next recommendation is Jack London State Historic Park. In Northern California, near the town of Sonoma, Jack London State Historic Park comprises the author's home and ranch. It features a house he was building that unfortunately burned down before the family could move in, and his gravesite, as well as a few miles of hiking trails. There's a lot of history to see in this park, and it's a beautiful area to walk through while in Sonoma. Next up is La Purisima State Historic Park. La Purisima is one of California's 21 missions, and it was established in the late 1700s. The mission is now part of the state park system, and it's a great example of Spanish influence in California that you can still see today. The park has many buildings still standing, livestock you can see in the pens, and lots of history on the area. I've been here a few times and there's a lot to explore. Next up is Old Sacramento State Historic Park. Old Sacramento is a personal favorite of mine in the state capital. This area is just a lot of fun to walk around with old restored buildings and a fun historic charm. I have a whole video on my favorite things to do there, but if you go, I recommend you spend time at the train museum, visit the Tower Bridge, check out the shooting gallery, and grab some mini donuts. Also, this is a great place for the annual St. Patrick's Day parade as well. My next recommendation is Old Town San Diego. This is the second old town on the list, located about 8 hours away from Sacramento in San Diego. It's one of the oldest settled areas in San Diego, and it has a lot of charm with a large park housing some historic buildings. I always enjoy walking through the park, checking out some of the shops and some of the small museums. Plus, you can visit the Whaley House while you're there, which is supposedly one of the most haunted places in the United States. Next up is Point Sur State Historic Park. Located on the stunning Big Sur coastline, Point Sur protects an original lighthouse from 1889. The lighthouse was built on a hill right next to the coast, and you can still visit it today via tours only. The tour was fantastic when we went, and it's one of the most beautiful views along the entire coastline. It's not easy to visit due to tour times, but it's worth the effort and something you'll definitely cherish on your visit to California. Next up is Empire Mine State Historic Park. Empire Mine is one of the oldest and richest California gold mines. This mine was used for over a century and has been stunningly preserved for you to see today. Along with the mine and the surrounding mine buildings, there's also the mine owner's home with its amazing reflecting pools and gardens. I spent a few hours exploring here and I was blown away by how unique it is. Make sure it's on your list to visit while exploring California's historic parks. My last recommendation is Sutter's Fort. John Sutter began construction on this agricultural trade center in 1841. It was an important area and a hub in the Central Valley until gold was found, which made many leave the fort. It also has a connection to the Donner Party, and you can see one of their dolls on display as well. Now the park sits right in the middle of busy Sacramento, but it's open to explore and it's a great way to learn about the history of the area. Be sure to visit the California State Indian Museum right next door, but you couldn't take any pictures or video inside when I went. That's it for some of my favorite California State historic parks. Let me know what I left off in the comments, and we'll see you on the next video.